Michael and Les, I'm truly honored to be able to share this screen with you. Congratulations for tonight's honor. I can tell that it means a lot to both of you. So let's start with the theme of tonight, which is reset. Do you agree that a reset is what companies and leaders need to foster a more inclusive workplace? And if so, how should they approach that?
I like the idea of a reset, and Les, congratulations on getting the award tonight. And Anne, thank you for a wonderful introduction. You've been a true partner of mine for the several years doing this meaningful work. I like the idea of reset because one of the things I hear in doing the work that I do is talking to executives saying, I just want things to get back to normal. And that's kind of code language to, I wanted things to get back to the way they were in 2018 and 2019. Now, my memory of 2018 and 2019 was that things couldn't possibly get any worse. So 2018 and 2019 weren't great for a lot of people, particularly underrepresented people. And then things did get a lot worse based on the COVID tragedy. But what we need is a reset. We need to learn from the experiences of the past and try and recreate the way that we go forward, not repeating some of the old things. And so I'm hoping that people can not long for the past, but realize we have to create something different going forward. And that's the power of NPower, enabling us to address equity in a couple of ways. One is equity of representation throughout an organization, and it starts wherever we can recruit hard to find talent, and also equity of opportunity, which is developing people and promoting them so that we create organizations that have great representation and opportunity all the way through the organization. So when we say to somebody, if you work hard and live out the values, you can get anywhere and you want. You can get anywhere you want in the organization. People can actually see that that's happening. And that's what drives what Ann was talking about, the most innovative organizations in the world. And I think with a reset, we can start talking about organizations growing at 15 to 20% per year rather than growing at 3 to 5% per year.
So not going back to the past, but moving towards and resetting towards that better future. How have you had to reset or reprioritize things in your life recently? Michael, why don't we start with you?
Well, personally, I think that there's three things that have a new meaning based on the global experience that we've all had together, which is number one, we've realized people always say it, physical health really matters. It really matters. Number two, everyone has learned based on mental health deterioration that mental health really matters. And number three, financial health really matters. So we're connected in this way. During the pandemic, when people were in trouble, it wasn't family who helped them. It was neighbors who helped them. It was co-workers who helped them. So we really are connected. We may be an executive and feel like somehow our lives are different. Human beings are the same. Whether you're in Bogota, Colombia, where we do work, or Toronto, Canada, or my beautiful home and your beautiful home in Oakland, California. That's what the pandemic has changed. And so I believe I'm reset in terms of focusing on what's important, not only just for my employees, but for anybody that I come in contact with in terms of the path forward. Seeing each other as human beings first is the way to make the reset actually happen.
Absolutely. And creating that path forward, that's what NPower does. Les, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And by the way, Michael, congratulations on the award tonight. And Malika, great to be with you. Everyone should know that since in some way, shape, or form, I'm responsible for Chris Perry's compensation, I'm not sure those nice words were as sincere as they were intended to be. But putting that aside for a moment, I think what Michael has suggested is spot on. And that is that, we're in an environment where the COVID crisis has given us an opportunity in the Churchillian way of not letting a good crisis go to waste. And it's an opportunity for us to begin to change perceptions. It's an opportunity for us to rethink structure, rethink career pathing, rethink needs, rethink how it is that we do business, what our go-to-market strategies are, and what are the requirements and tools necessary for us to be successful. And part of that is including that group of folks who are those who can benefit the most from what it is we have to offer, and who are keener than just about anyone to pick up on the opportunities that are presented to them. And so I think the work that NPower is doing and others, but certainly that focus on communities of need and constituencies within those communities of even greater need, is really an opportunity for us to put the pieces back together in a different way as we go forward into the brave new world that we're entering.
Well, both of you all have touched on this. The world has changed forever over the past year. The pandemic interrupted and unfortunately ended many lives. The economy threatens to leave more people behind in their pursuit of the American dream, right? And remote work has become the norm. So what in your mind has changed? Let's try to spin it around, Les, for the positive.
So what's changed for the positive is quite a number of things, quite honestly. The reality at the end of the day is that our old notion of where we work and what work is forever changed. I imagine, and at least it's my belief, that we're going to a hybrid model where there's opportunity for both in office, on location, and remote working. It is unfortunate that there are some careers, some jobs that don't allow for that remote work. But overall, generally, I think the positive here is that this represents an opportunity on the hybrid basis for people to really be fully utilized and to be able to do those things which are of no less importance to them in how they live their lives, how they protect for their families and provide for their families, and how they go forward in developing their careers. I think that is the biggest positive that will come from this.
What about you, Michael?
I agree. And I love Les's image about putting the pieces back together, because it implies that things were broken and now we can put them together in a different and new way. I too think that the excuse that, well, I live in Brun, we run a company, it's in Vermont, there's no black people in Vermont, is an absurd excuse now, because you can get talent from anywhere now. Absolutely anywhere now. We're proving that work can get done at a high productivity level from anywhere. And every company has back office roles that aren't necessarily direct providers of the work. So whether you're in finance and accounting, whether you're in IT, there are great opportunities to get talent from anywhere. So this has liberated and I think smashed some old ideas that kept us operating in the old way. We can get talent from anywhere. So, and NPower has proven that you can still develop talent, even though you can't pull people together in a classroom anymore. So all the old ideas have been shattered for those who want to look at reality and move forward in a new way. Those who want to cling to the old way will certainly do that. But I too am inspired, just like Les, that for some leaders, things are different now. They have had an experience. And things are different now. And so for those leaders, they really care about what their organizations look like and what their organizations feel like and how their organizations behave. They have been transformed because they got broken during the last 18 months. And for those leaders, they're going to get rewarded because they're going to run companies that increase the competitive advantage that they have over their peers who are trying to go back to 2018.
Absolutely. Starting new. Well, we're here at NPower's Gala, an organization that they haven't missed a beat since the pandemic hit. The need for upskilling, diverse talent, social mobility, it all comes together in their mission. So how do you believe companies can or should engage with NPower, Michael?
I think two ways. Number one, write checks, wire money. That's number one. So it's just like that one's easy. Get to your CFO, get to your your payables people, and move that money. If you don't want to do anything else, at least do that. If you don't want to hire this great talent, at least do that so other people can. But the second thing is to hire this great talent. So it's a 1-2 punch here. It's you need to be doing both things. If you do one thing, you're going back to 2018. It's about doing both things. It's about fueling the organization that has taken on this challenge to find people that I don't find to be hard to find. Well, NPower's like, maybe you think they're hard to find? Well, we found them for you. Okay, so they should get rewarded by that with the investment. And then number two, it's hire the talent Hire the talent. As Ann said, and as others have found that have hired the talent from NPower, you get rewarded tenfold. Forget about making you feel good, which it does. Your organization gets rewarded because you have people who have grit. You have people that bring a must-win everyday mentality to your workforce, and your whole workforce benefits from that.
I love that must-win mentality. What do you think
that
of
is so true?
Yeah.
Malika, I think Michael is on to the right topic here. It is the notion of the determination and grit that is embodied in the folks that NPower brings to the party that really differentiates them. There's no entitlement sense on the part of these folks. They're there on a mission to better their lives and to demonstrate their value. We have always been in a position where we've had to work twice as hard and improve ourselves even more so. That's still the case. NPower allows that to happen on a more meaningful basis in the context of the economy that we live in today and the world that we live in today and will live in tomorrow. It's a tech-driven world. It's going to be increasingly driven by technology skills, the kinds of skills that are often missing within many of the communities where Michael and I and yourself probably grew up, that NPower can bring to the party and really put people in a position to be able to demonstrate their value on the same level set skills that everyone else has been privileged enough to have, and to really show who we are, what we are, and who they are in particular.
Well, yes, gentlemen, we may be coming from slightly different industries, but that idea of, well, it's just too hard to find, that exists in my industry, that exists in yours. And I know you wouldn't be there. I wouldn't be here if someone else hadn't helped me, pulled me up a little bit, somebody who looked like me. So how are each of you paying it forward with mission-based work like NPower?
So I'm happy to take a stab, Michael. One of the things that I'm involved in today, Ariel Alternatives, is on a mission to use the sensitivities that have been attenuated post the George Floyd murder to really begin to cause corporate America to look at our community, the Black and brown communities, very differently, and to begin to address the wealth gap. That to me is a really important piece. We can always pay people $1 or $2 more an hour. That'll increase incomes, but it's not going to bridge the wealth gap. Project Black, which is the first initiative of Ariel Alternatives, is targeted to creating companies that are able to employ meaningful numbers of people and create jobs in communities of need. And more importantly, from my vantage point, create careers in communities of need and begin to narrow that wealth gap. So we're really excited about the confluence of factors that have come into play post the murder of George Floyd that gives us this opportunity, and we're going to run with it as fast as we can while the momentum is still hot.
Absolutely.
I think what Les just talked about is how you take a moment and make it a movement. How you make lasting change in the way that things happen in the world, not just make a statement today with no action behind it. So the things that I'm focusing on right now is the city that we love, Malika, Oakland. Okay, just kind of right here, getting small businesses going that have been crushed in the past 18 months, have been absolutely crushed. And so trying to make sure that they get the investment that's needed, because while banks are doing some things, loaning to small businesses, not really happening, in the inner city. And so that's finding ways to make that capital available to them. And the other thing is, you can have a great small business that just bad luck makes it hard for them to meet payroll. So I'm trying to do what I can to address that issue, which is interest-free payroll loans, just to help that business make that payroll, because businesses go out of business by missing a payroll. So that's a systemic problem that is, been around, but devastating right now, because small businesses don't have the foot traffic right now to kind of even things out. It's going to take a few more months as we get on the other side of the pandemic. So focusing locally, right where I live, is, are a couple things that I'm trying to do.
I loved what you said there. Take a moment and make it a movement. Can we get that on some T-shirts or something? I think that's absolutely incredible. Right?
I'm stealing
right?
it. I'm stealing it.
I'm going to have one here in Oakland just for you.
Perfect. That
stealing
means I
that,
get to
Michael.
come home. See,
All
we
right.
should all be using that. Take a moment and make it a movement. Thank you, Michael and Les, for taking the time to share your experience and advice with us today. Congratulations on your recognition. We really, really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Good
you.
to be with you, Malika, and congratulations, Michael.
Same to you, Les, and thank you very much, Malika. See you back here in Oakland.
Absolutely.